you need to write a problem. What is a problem that you overcame? A challenge that shaped you? A struggle that you had that you were able to overcome? Think of moments in your life that there was a problem, there was a struggle, there was a challenge, and you overcame it. If you think like movies, let's talk about The Lion King. There was a problem. Simba got lost, and then how this entire problem, how this entire struggle and situations to trying to come back to his family made him the Lion King that he was by the end. Think about Pursuit of Happiness, where Chris is broke, struggling to pay the rent with a son, but he had this dream to build his business. He believed in it. He was pursuing this with all his heart. So what's your story? What is the struggle you overcame to be the person you are today? If you start sharing your story, people will connect with you. It's like when you enter in a room, a new place, you go networking. People are all wearing shelves because we are trying to protect ourselves, right? We need to be a persona. We need to behave in a certain way. You enter in a new place, especially very closed. But the beauty is usually when you open up. You know, like a shelf, when you open up, there is a pearl. There is the beauty. So think of what is the challenge or the struggle that you had to overcome to become the person you are today. Probably that is exactly the reason why you started the business you started today. Start sharing that story. And then when you talk about the problem, talk about the transformation. It's the second step on a good story. How did you overcome your struggles, your challenges? And what your story can help others avoid the same mistakes you did. Me, for example, it took too long for me to realize that I was an entrepreneur because I come from a simple family. I'm actually the first person in my entire family that has a bachelor's degree. Now there are others, but I was the first because I didn't accept the reality that we had. But it took too long for me because I thought that my goal was to go to university, have my degree, and work for someone else. Until I understood that all the dedication and capacity I have, I could start my own business. And by using my story, my business became unique and attracted people that wanted to buy from me. To be honest, I don't feel special in that sense. It's only that I use the strategies, communication strategies, journalism techniques to tell my story in a way that it makes sense and connect to other people. So I started writing a blog professionally because I wanted, in the meantime, as I was working as a babysitter and then starting a cafe, learning Swedish. I didn't want to stop working as a journalist, but because I didn't have a job as a journalist, I started my own website where I could keep practicing and writing professionally. So I could sit in an interview. So I could let people know my story. The moment I was starting my portfolio, my blog, the idea was when I was speaking Swedish, more confident with my English, I would apply for jobs and show the potential employers my portfolio that I was writing on a daily basis and how good my portfolio was. So the intention was to write professionally so I could find a job until it shifted for people want to know you. Who is the person behind these amazing advices about seeing the northern lights in Sweden? Actually, I have a story about this. 2015, I was invited by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Sweden to go to Kiruna. It's a city in the north of the country, the city that is moving its place. Because of a mine, Kiruna is changing the city. So they are moving all the buildings a few kilometers from where the city is at the moment. So me and other correspondents, journalists, correspondents living in Stockholm were invited to visit this destination to write about the city move. But Kiruna is also known for being the place to see the northern lights. And I was lucky enough to see it twice in the 3 nights we spent there. It was a unique experience, I would recommend. But in that moment, when I was sharing this text, I wrote to magazines and in my website, people just started asking me, but what clothes do you wear there? What do you eat? What is the lipstick you're wearing? And it sounds very simple, right? But it's because people is interested in the person behind the story. And that was the time when I shift my not without fearing, because as a journalist, we spent years on university learning how to tell other people's stories like a narrator. You are not supposed to be the subject of the story. You are not the protagonist as a journalist. You are just someone that tells other people's story. So it was very difficult for me as well to take ownership of who I was and start sharing it with others. But again, using strategies that actually resonate, that actually help you to have a structure of how and why and what to do and how to do it. You too can learn how to share your story in a way that makes you comfortable. You don't need to overshare. Today you are already learning. If you use the structure I gave here, first you write down the problem. Second, the transformation. And finally, the solution. After struggling to find my place in Sweden, after making many mistakes, I have found that my story was my superpower. And with that story, I was able not only to be recognized as one of the 30 best bloggers in the world, but I also start a business with an investment from the European Union. I will tell you about that story another time. But what I know is that with the right guidance and practice, you too can start being the queen of your business, owning your story, and tell them with confidence. Why? Because you're gonna attract people that actually resonate with you. You're gonna stop attracting people that is just only after discounts. You're gonna attract people that actually want the transformation that your business can provide to them. So let's do a quick recap of today. You, first of all, own your story. So to write a story that resonates, so your business, your story makes sense and connect with others, with people that are going to value your work, your transformation, the transformation you provide to them. Self-reflection. Take a moment today before you go to bed to write what make you become the person you are today. What problems is your business solving and why you chose just that area to work with. Write down as much thing as possible. That's not right or wrong. It's just about you and you don't need to share that. After that, choose one struggle, one challenge. Write it down. Right after that, write the transformation that you needed to go through to find the solution you found by the end. So here is the 3 topics, the structure of your story. There is a problem. There was the transformation, the way you took, the path you took to resolve that challenge, and the solution you found by the end and the lessons. And from there, start telling your story loud. First for yourself in front of the mirror, then to your friends, and then maybe just recommend you take your phone and say it, try to practice already and just post it. Post and run. You're gonna see that magic can happen already from the first time you share your story with intention, with a structure, with a proper guideline. Okay? If you have any questions, please write here in the comments. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm looking forward to seeing your stories. Share your story today. Take ownership of your own story. Become the queen you deserve to be. Bye.